evening and welcome to this edition of Left, Right and Centre on Christmas Day. I'm Nidhi Razdan. On the show tonight, the Congress and the BJP don't like them. They're sceptical, almost sneering of the Aam Aadmi Party. But both seem to be learning some lessons from Arvind Kerjriwal's style of campaigning. Has the AAP forced national parties to rethink their poll strategies? Well, with only a few months left for the Lok Sabha polls, both the BJP and the Congress seem to be reorienting their strategies just a bit, thanks to the stunning success of the Aam Aadmi Party in the Delhi polls. So now you have Rahul Gandhi asking for public feedback on the party manifesto, while the BJP has just announced a door-to-door campaign to raise funds for Narendra Modi. The question is, will it work?
We are going to learn from that, and we are going to do a better job than anybody in the country and involve people in ways that you cannot even imagine right now.
The Aam Aadmi effect is now perhaps showing. In a first, the Congress party opened up the process of preparing its manifesto to public scrutiny.
उनका ये मानना है कि जब तक पार्टी का मैनिफेस्टो ऐसा ना हो कि जिसमें लोगों को लगे कि इसमें हमारी ओनरशिप है, तब तक मैनिफेस्टो का उतना महत्व नहीं होता.
So now a dedicated website from the Congress to receive feedback from the people. An open house to debate what should be its Dalit and minority agenda. And a promise to open the grand old party to people without a political lineage.
There is little doubt that Aam Aadmi Party's foray into politics has been a game changer. Now most political parties are talking about transparency, discussing processes like preparing their manifestos or even changing the way they collect funds. But there is still an area where major political parties seems to have reservation, that of bringing political parties under the Right to Information Act.
And the impact can be seen on the BJP as well. The party's top guns were in a huddle for 10 hours on Tuesday for campaign 2014. They made big plans and accepted new ideas. The BJP slogan will be Narendra Modi for PM, and the plan is a door-to-door campaign to approach 10 crore families for funds and votes.
One note, और कम से कम 10 रुपए का कंट्रीब्यूशन के लिए हम निवेदन करेंगे और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 1000 रुपए का कंट्रीब्यूशन भारतीय जनता पार्टी हर एक से लेगी.
The BJP's changed strategy for 2014 is sign that the party is accounting for the power of the armed voter, like in the biblical story of David versus Goliath, in which David had dumped a brass helmet and a sword to pick up 5 smooth stones. The BJP prepares to fight a conventional electoral battle with strategies which are unconventional break from its own past.
With Sandeep Fukan and Rahul Srivastav, Amitabh Revi, NDTV.
So are the national parties being forced to reorient their strategies because of the Aam Aadmi Party, or are they being too dismissive of the AAP factor? Joining us on the program tonight, we have Atishi Marnena, member of the Aam Aadmi Party, here in the studio with us. Also with us, Sudhanshu Trivedi, national spokesperson of the BJP, Ragini Naik, spokesperson of the Congress Party. TV Mohandas Pai joins us tonight from Bangalore, and we'll be joined shortly by Kumar Ketkar as well. Let me ask Sudhanshu Trivedi first. Mr. Trivedi, we've seen yesterday the BJP announcing this door-to-door campaign, this fundraising campaign, this Modi for PM line that you're focusing on. Why not give credit to the Aam Aadmi Party? Has that not in a sense been the inspiration for this style of campaigning?
It is not proper rather than it is an injustice of saying that we are drawing this inspiration from Aam Aadmi Party. Those who know the political background of BJP and that too of India, this one vote, one note is an age-old slogan of Bharatiya Jansangh, even from the days of Bharatiya Jansangh. And now as far as going from door to door is concerned, while discussing our electoral victory in the 3 states, this was discussed that the states in which we have outreach to the voters at booth level, and we got tremendous results. So, inspired by the victory of these 4 elections, we wanted to expand this strategy all over India. So there is nothing like getting an inspiration from Aam Aadmi Party rather than the BJP, which is the biggest cadre-based party of the India, which is having the capability to go to door, and we have proved this in the 3 states and also of course in the Delhi. So this was just the thing. I think it is an overestimation or rather than lopsided view of seeing the thing.
Well, Tell me, let me put it to you this way. Was the effect of AAP discussed in this meeting that you had yesterday? It was a very long meeting that went on for several hours. We understand that, the AAP factor was something that was brought up. Was it?
No, there was no discussion on AAP factor, except the one time the reference of AAP came when there was a presentation of the Delhi state. There were obviously the AAP factor would have been discussed, that only even at that time it was said that if AAP would not have been there, we would have got the 2/3 majority.
Okay, so you
there was no discussion at national level or on the strategic level. Even there was no reference of AAP factor.
Okay, let me take this to Mohandas Pai for a moment. Mohandas Pai, do you really believe that the BJP, when it says it's not been inspired by the AAP in this kind of poll strategy, are they not being entirely truthful on that, or there is some truth to what they're saying in terms of their own background about fund collection and so on? But do you think that there has been some change that is being forced on the national parties today? And first, the BJP I'm focusing on now. This door-to-door campaign, very Arvind Kerjriwal style. Is it a coincidence that it's coming right now after those Delhi results?
Nidhi, it's true that the BJP had this one note, one vote policy, door-to-door, cadre, is all true, but they strayed away from their past. And you could see in the elections and in the finances of BJP party, the large number of receipts are there for 20,000 rupees in cash. That means they've been taking black money from a lot of contractors and everybody else, like all political parties. And they have not been true to their past. They've been looking at people to buy votes, especially in my states, and it's very, very clear what they have done. But I think in the last election, they've been much more open. They've done much better. They rediscovered their roots. And I think the AAP campaign has got a great influence on them, because suddenly they found people responding to Narendra Modi, responding to the AAP style of campaigning, responding to talking to citizens. So I think there is a great shift in their thinking, and they've gone back to the past. So I think it's a very good thing. And AAP has had a tremendous impact on everything else. The most significant thing about AAP is they collected 20 crores from citizens. When the last time you heard that any political party collected 20 crores or 30 crores from citizens in an open, transparent manner where everybody's name was known and everybody got a receipt? So certainly AAP has had a great influence on everybody's behavior in this election, and will have in future,
whether they want to admit it or not. Rakini Nayak, we heard Rahul Gandhi saying that he wants to draw lessons from the Aam Aadmi Party's win, and we're already seeing that in a sense playing out with the feedback on the manifestos and an attempt to certainly make it look like the whole process is more transparent. The criticism of the Congress, though, is that if it really wants to change and really wants to respond to what people want today, then the Congress as a party has to change its fundamental structure. Start by having internal elections. Start by having elections for the president and the vice president's post. That these are only cosmetic changes, and that fundamental changes need to be made in the way in which the Congress party is run. Ragini.
Nidhi, you fundamentally asked me two questions, so allow me some time to respond. To begin with, let me say that change is inevitable. It is the most constant thing in the world. Times change, lifestyles change, demography changes. So it is but obvious that the medium of outreaching people would also change with time to a certain extent. Now, there are certain traditional time-tested old ways of campaigning. You can say the centralized mode and the most effective decentralized mode, in which you go out to the people with your achievements, talk to them, try to analyze how far you've been able to live up to the expectations, and also to build a life connect. Congress party firmly believes in that, and we've been doing that for a long time. As far as incorporating certain novelties and certain new innovations are concerned, that has also been done. The social media, Twitter, Facebook, voice messages, so on and so forth. Now, you specifically talked about a particular novelty that has been introduced by Mr. Rahul Gandhi, the open manifesto concept, in which he is going out to different stakeholders from various communities, talking to them about their problems and trying to incorporate the solutions in letter and spirit in the manifesto. If you say that that is a direct result of the strategy of the Aam Aadmi Party, I would not completely agree to it. It was way back in towards the end of 2007 when Mr. Rahul Gandhi became in charge of the two frontal organizations, NSUI and Youth Congress, wherein he brought in this concept of opening the doors to the people. So you're talking about internal elections as well. Yes, I would say that is a concept that he has brought in the frontal organizations, and something which might probably come up within the Congress party as well, the democratization of the Congress party to a very large extent. I would also with humility accept that the Aam Aadmi Party has inspired us in building a better connect with the people, because the mandate of the electorate has proved that the best connect here was of the Aam Aadmi Party. Just allow me 30 seconds more. There is a background to it which there is a background to it. Having said that, there is a background to it which has to be looked into. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party was a debutant party, a beginner. They did not have any achievements to talk about. They did not have a credible historical political past to take to the people.
Remarkable.
That is why, that is why they created a vision of perfection full of idealism and populism, which many people today believe probably hasn't been gone through reality check, and they presented it to the people. Also, in order to be successful, they had to bring in, they had to bring in some sort of, they had to diminish the stature.
One second, Ragini, 1 second. Let me get everybody in here.
They had to diminish the stature of the established political parties, both the BJP and the Congress, and that is why they brought in a lot of negativity and cynicism in their campaign as well. So if you ask me, is that the ideal recipe for a perfect strategy of political campaign? Then I will say no.
Well, many people may not agree with that, Atishi, that what was negative about the AAP campaign. In fact, many see it as positive, as building on hope. The fact that you've been able to mobilize people across caste lines, religious lines, that you've been able to bring people together in the way that you have. You still see the mainstream parties sneering at you today, skeptical about whether you can follow through on a lot of things, and don't want to give you credit for things they've picked up on.
Well, I think it's fine whether they give us credit or not. If I was to hear my friends from the Congress and the BJP, I think we've already had our victory. The fact that all these parties are talking about open manifestos, the fact that people are talking about doing door-to-door campaigning, I can see the fact that we have already made a substantial difference into the political discourse. But what I find still unfortunate is that BJP and Congress are still looking at our strategies. They are not looking at the core content of our politics. And yes, our strategies did help us because we went to the people. But what actually really helped us was the fact that we were focusing on the issues of the common man. We talked of electricity, we talked of water, we talked of sanitation, because these are the issues that are actually plaguing the common people in Delhi. And I think that Congress and BJP don't just need to alter their campaign strategies. They actually need to fundamentally alter their politics.
But do you see them already doing it without wanting to give you credit?
Yes, strategies are beginning. Absolutely. When they talk of an open manifesto, BJP was already talking of 70 manifestos like us. But as I was saying, it needs to move beyond strategies. And they need to realize that it is the Aam Aadmi or the common person who is the center of politics, who needs to be the center of politics. And I think that is the rethink that a lot of mainstream political parties still need to do. Because I think when my colleague from the Congress says that we actually brought a lot of cynicism in the campaign, the cynicism was not in our campaign. The cynicism exists within the people. People are so cynical of the political establishment.
Particularly against the Congress.
And that is the reason they have voted for us. So I think that rethink also needs to begin in both political parties. But it makes me happy to see that a lot of thinking or actually reaching out to the people.
Some ideas are being borrowed at least. Ragini, I know you want to respond. Quick response from you, and then I'll get Mr. Ketkar to weigh in.
You know, I do not subscribe to the idea which the spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party has just been alleging that the Congress Party has not been forthright and straightforward in putting forward the point, because it's not just me, but I think Mr. Rahul Gandhi himself said that we need to learn and move ahead. So we know politics is also a learning process. The grand old party has fought many elections, got defeated, won. So it's not as if, you know, this particular defeat would establish something to the effect that Congress is completely disconnected with the people. No. Secondly, the negativity and the cynicism that I talked about, which was there in the campaign of the Aam Aadmi Party, was something which was shown on this particular channel as well. There were many people who were critical of the arrogance and negative content of your campaign, and you will also have to be kind of, you know, sensitive to that. Thirdly, I would give full credit to the Aam Aadmi Party that they played to the galleries. They brought in certain issues and they played to the aspirations of the people. But the point still remains that they have to materialize all that.
Playing to the gallery is not a compliment. Mohandas Pai, I know you're dying to come in on that. Let me just get Mr. Ketkar's comments on this. Mr. Ketkar, I know you've been skeptical about the impact that the Aam Aadmi Party could have at a national level. But do you already see the national parties borrowing some good things at least from their style of campaigning in the way that they are trying to connect with people? You know, is there at least a realization that there is something about the style of campaigning, especially in cities, in urban centers, that is going to have to change as we move forward?
Well, actually, I had not criticized their idealism or even that kind of, new kind of building spirit among the people and come out in the open. But this particular thing, so-called game changer of bringing people in to pay actually to the party fund, it is not something totally new. I was a student when I actually collected money from when I was a communist sort of activist in my student days, and this used to be done by communist parties, this used to be done even by Congress party in the 1960s when I was a student. So this is not something new. What had happened was during last 20, 30 years, this particular approach to people had disappeared from Congress. BJP didn't exist at that time, and all the other parties. So funding came from sources which we never knew. So what AAP has done is re-establishing the same old spirit, the same old concept of purity in collecting funds and going out to the people. So welcome for that. But this is not something new invention of law of gravity. They have been doing they have done something which was being done by all the parties. So I am not impressed that this is a new law of gravity, but this is definitely impressive.
But Mr. Ketkar, even if they're doing it again, clearly somewhere along the way the national parties went in another direction. So the AAP has brought this back to the center stage, which is also important.
That is welcome. That is absolutely welcome. But to say that this will affect the entire approach of national political process, I don't think so. AAP is welcome to do that, but it is as if urban and rural divide is there, and urban people are more concerned with purity and with probity and with sincerity, and as if rural people are not. I think this kind of divide is also very artificial. I don't think it is proper, and it is not as if urban versus rural. Otherwise, we will fall in the trap of creating new urban-rural divide. That is, urban people are concerned about the society and rural people are not, and therefore urban people are voting AAP and other people are not voting AAP. I think this urban-rural divide is completely negative. Urban-rural divide must not be taking place in the polity, because now already most of the rural areas have already become semi-urban areas. Aspirations which are being talked about just now are actually aspirations to become more urban, for urban to become more metropolitan. And so I think it's a process, it's not urban-rural divide. And to say that urban people will vote for AAP,
effect then become even more important.
Even rural,
Mohandas Pai,
No, but even rural people will vote for AAP. Even rural.
Okay, let's see if they do. But I think we're talking about urban centers because it's been a Delhi-centric campaign until now, and they have to be tested beyond the borders of Delhi. Yes, Mr. Pai.
Nidhi, I think the big political parties are forgetting there's a great new phenomenon that has happened in the last 4 to 5 years, which will determine the fate of the 2014 election. 50 crore voters are below the age of 40. 30 crore voters are below the age of 30. And like Mr. Ketkar said, their aspirations are very different, whether in the urban area or rural area. They want action, they want job, they don't want false promises, they don't want doles. And the Congress had the campaign based upon an old fact. They ignored Rahul Gandhi's views on many things. They did not connect with young people, and they paid the price in Delhi and all other places. Whereas the BJP campaign was much more focused on the youth, much more focused on the aspiration, much more focused on what they wanted. They succeeded all over. So I think the AAP coming up in the urban area is a fact that says that India has changed. The great majority of people are very different voters from the past, and the first time is happening in a very big way. And 2014 is going to be defining for the whole of India, and people want more transparency, they want a connect, they want their aspirations to be heard, and they want to be heard. The old style of doing politics, I think, is gone, and that's what Ketkar said, and I totally agree with him.